So you want to make electronic music, right? You came to the right place. There are a million different ways of creating electronic music, but I think that one of the easiest and more intuitive and more fun is by using this device that I'm going to show you. And this is it, the Novation Circuit Tracks. This is what they call a groove box, meaning a device that instead of focusing on a single instrument, can have multiple types of instruments in one box. And to me, this is one of the best beginner devices ever to start making music. And let me tell you why. First, it's cheap. If you're willing to buy secondhand, you can get one for around $200 to 100 euros. Second, it's very complete because it's a groove box. It has all of the elements that you need in order to make simple compositions. Third, it's portable because it has an internal battery. You can take it around with you and just compose whenever you feel like it. And last, and most important of all for me, it's easy to use, it's intuitive, and it's very fun to use. You see, I believe that making music doesn't have to be difficult. If you're willing to learn, if you're willing to experiment, I believe that you can make stuff that you'll enjoy. So come along with me. I'll show you how to create some basic beat. We'll not focus on any specific genre. We're just going to create something that we can dance to and that we can jam to. All right? I'm going to use everything that comes from factory on this device, and many of the concepts that I will talk about, you can follow along in different devices. You just need to adapt a little. So with no further delay, let's jump right to it. All right, so here we are on the Circuit Tracks. I've opened the factory pack. So if you get a new Circuit Tracks, this by default is what you'll get, right? And it's a very complete pack, so you can do a lot of things with it. So don't worry about getting new packs for now. And as you can see here, I'm on the projects view. And this basically lists all the songs that this specific pack has. As you can see here in light blue is the songs that came in with the factory pack. And in dark blue, they're just empty slots. I've already selected one. And now I'll move on to the pattern view. And I just want to explain what a pattern is. So a pattern is a loop. A loop is something that repeats over and over again with always the same sequence, right? This means that for all the lights that you see here, for all the pads that you see here, these are 1 bar loops. And usually electronic songs, they're either built around 8 bar loops or 8 bar sections or 16 bar sections, but you don't have to be stuck to these, right? You can do whatever you want. And just to keep things simple, we'll start with just a 1 bar loop, meaning that I'll usually just use one of the rows that we see here, right? And I'll take the chance to explain another thing about the Circuit Tracks, which are the tracks that you see here. It has 2 tracks for synths called Synth 1 and Synth 2. Then it has MIDI tracks 1 and 2. And then it has 4 tracks for drums, right? Let's forget about the MIDI tracks for now, and we'll focus on the Synth 1, the Synth 2, and then the drum tracks. And you may think that these are very little elements for a song, but as you'll find out, you don't really need a lot of things in order to have fun making music. And you can always expand it later on. But for now, this is quite enough. For example, we'll use Synth 1 for the bass line. And bass is basically the sound that you feel when you're out on the disco, and the thud that you feel in your body, that's the bass. That's what gets you moving, you know? So bass is really important. And you can make a whole song just using bass and some rhythm elements, really. And then we'll use Synth 2 for either a chord, you know, or a pad sound, something to lay over that creates some harmonics, a melody, or anything of the sort. We'll get there. I don't really have anything planned for now, so we'll see. But it's a different synth that will layer over the bass line, all right, to create melodies or whatever. And then on the drums, usually we have a kick, a snare, then hats, and then whatever else. You can use whatever. It really depends on what you want to build or how you want your track to sound, you know? Just experiment. Try different things, because this is about having fun and trying new things. And you're here to make electronic music, make new music, express yourself in this format. So this is what's it all about, just express yourself and have fun doing it, right? All right, so now that I've explained the patterns and what they are, I think we can start building on our song. And I usually start by adding some type of rhythmic element, usually the kick. So I'll just tap drum 1 here, and let's see what this factory pack has in terms of kick drums, right? So I like this one. And as you can see, these two lines that we have right here in light blue, this is what we call a sequencer. A sequencer, and you'll find this in many, many devices. Usually when you look at a device that can produce music and it has an internal sequencer, this is what it means. And it's basically, if you divide a 1-bar loop in 16 sections or 16 steps, for example, you can then use that to activate the sounds to be played on specific steps. Like, for example, here, I have this divided in 16 steps, and I want the typical 4 on the floor kind of beat, right? So I'll put here, 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 and here. And if I press play, all right, so we got the beat going, right? And one of the first things that you want to do after, in the first steps that you have on your song is set up the tempo. And of course, lower tempo means less energy. Usually it's more introspective, and a higher tempo means that it's going to be more energetic, but it really depends on the genre and the mood that you want for the song, right? So here I want something groovy, something nice. So I'll put it on 124, right? Now, let's go back to the sequencer. I'll press drum 1 again, and this is going, right? And maybe I want to add a snare just to on the backbeat, right? So I'll press drum 2, and let's look for a nice snare sound. Woo. Something simple like this. Why not? All right. All right. Getting somewhere. And now I also like to add some hats. Either closed or open. Kind of makes the beat, the typical, that kind of thing. It's very typical, but it works. It really works. So let's find some kind of sound that we can use over here. This is very, this is very typical, right? This sound. I think it's a 909, Roland 909 type of sound. This is like a classic. So let's see if it works. All right. Now we have something going, right? And it's quite cool because the Circuit Tracks allows you to kind of work on these sounds, right? So, for example, now it's a little bit loud. So I'll move over to the mixer, and I know that the hats are on drum 3. So I'll twist the knob. There is in front of drum number 3. And I'll drop the volume a little bit. Yeah. I think that works. Kind of like a nice beat going, right? And we'll leave it at that for now. So what do I want to do now? Maybe start working on a bass line, So let's go over Synth 1 and let's see what they have in store for us. Let's hear what they have in store for us. I think that's the one. Let me see. And here in this case, I think I'm going to record live. And this is something that you can also do on the circuit tracks. You can record your notes live, so they're automatically placed in the sequencer, right? And I have quantized mode enabled. So whenever I tap one of these notes while on record mode, it's going to place on the right tempo, on the right timing, right? Quantization is exactly that. It defines, it basically aligns the notes that you play to a specific grid, to a specific timing. So it always is on time according to the tempo of your song. If you don't do it, they can be misaligned, but maybe that's something that you want to do, right? And if that's what you want to do, go right ahead. I usually like to have things on time, but sometimes it's good to have a little bit of some weirdness, something different. But for now, I'll just use the quantization to record my things, my notes, right? So let's start doing it. I'm going to press record. All right. Something simple, right? But there's already something to dance to. I mean, like I said, making music doesn't have to be difficult. Making music doesn't have to be complicated, It can be really, really simple. You just need to find your own groove and have fun. Just have fun, all right? But back to this. The Circuit Tracks is awesome in a way that every synth preset that it has, right? So as I've shown you before, I've selected the preset. So it has a bunch of different types of synths. They're called presets. It's basically different settings to have different sounds on a synth. It's either a preset, it's also called a patch. It really depends on the software or hardware that you're using, but they basically mean one thing. It's like snapshots of the settings in order to make a specific type of sound, right? And what's fun is that on the circuit tracks, you can assign certain parameters to the knobs that you see here, so they can be tweaked while you're just jamming. This is what we're doing, is what we call jamming. We're just making stuff, playing in real time as it goes, right? And like, for example, one very common thing is to work the filter of the synth and use it as some kind of, something to create variation, modulation. And for example, here it's number 5, it's filter frequency. In this specific patch is a little hard to hear, but something that goes along with the filter frequency is resonance. Now you can hear it. So the frequency and resonance, they are parts of the same thing, right? So the filter is something that either that covers some frequencies of your sound. So basically it covers a little bit, if you think about a cloth. So this is like the whole song, right? And your song is composed of low frequency, mid frequency, and high frequency sounds. High frequency sounds is usually, for example, the hats, the things that you hear right up there, and usually they are the ones that hurt your ears if you're not mixed properly, for example. The mids is everything where the meat and potatoes are. And then the low frequencies is where the sounds that I've explained before, the ones that really affect your body, that you can feel in your body, that's where they are, right? And the filter, what it does is basically cover these sounds. And what we have here, is, for example, is a low pass filter, meaning that only the low frequencies pass. So if you think about a blanket, basically it covers the higher part and the mid part, and it's only letting the low frequencies to come out, right? If it's a high pass, it's the opposite. It only allows the high frequencies to come out, right? And I don't want to get too much into this. Just remember to work the frequency, work the filter, so you can learn what it does. It's a really useful tool, even if you're playing live or if you're just working on this, like to create some songs. It's a really useful tool, right? So don't forget about it. You see how it affects? Yeah. I'm gonna drop just a little bit of the volume on the hats. Let's see what type of effects does this have. Yeah. You can see here that on knob number 8, there's some kind of drive, distortion, and that usually provides warmth to the sounds that you make, right? Or synth sounds. But don't go overboard it. Don't go overboard, because if you do, it's going to sound extremely distorted. And, you know, maybe that's something that you want. All right, we have something going here, okay? Now let's see if we can add another element. We'll go to Synth 2 and we'll check the presets to see if we like anything here. Let me see. I think I like this. Let's see. Yeah. Just checking what the different things that do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, so I like that. I'm gonna keep it for now. And now I'm gonna just drop the volume on synth number 2. Yeah. And now I think I want to add something to drum number 4. I want something to create rhythm, you know, to create rhythm. But I wanted something kind of simple, you know? Ooh, wait. Changed my mind. Kind of cool. And it's cool because every little every drum track that you see here has some parameters here to tweak as well. And for example, on knob number 8, you can tweak the pass, the filter that you can have for this particular drum sound. You know, like for example, here you can either go low pass, or you can go high pass. Yeah, I guess that's cool. And on knob number 4, you can adjust the decay. So meaning how much of the sound will you hear. Like for example, I can make it really staccato. Yeah, I'm happy with this. And I think it's a good time to kind of to let you know about the effects that this machine has, right? And if we go to the FX view right here, you see that we have two sets of pad colors going on. And the reds, or kind of brick color, is the delay. And the what you see here in, I don't know, kind of cream color is the reverb. And you can adjust those for every track that you see here, right? So I think I'll start by adding some depth to the sounds that I have here, and you can do that by either using the reverb or the delay. Let's see, for example, what we can do for the hats. I think I'll add some delay to them. As you can see, it changes the sound, and all the pads that you see here are different settings for the delay, and here different settings for the reverb. What do we think? Let me see. Ooh, I think I like this. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it for now because I want to add some space and texture, and I'll do that with the drum number 4, this chord that I've added. Let's see. Okay. Maybe I can add some effects to the second synth. Oh yeah. What I'm doing is jamming, and you can get really lost in the sauce when you start doing this. Woo. You see, this is really basic, but this is so fun. What can I do to the bass line? Okay. And this particular device has something that I really, really like, which is the master filter. You know, when you're a club and the DJ does those sweeps, you know, that they cut the sound and then they put it back in and creates like this really, you know, this kind of force. It feels good. So the Circuit Tracks is, as far as I know, one of the few devices that really has that, and you can use it to your own benefit, and it's always available. Like, for example, you see, I just did a high pass filter there, you know, but I can also go the other way. Do you want to do some Daft Punk thing? This is how you do it. Yeah. Let's see if I can do kind of a breakdown here. Let me see. I'm gonna do something that you should always do very often, which is to save. Always save your progress, okay? Let me see. Okay, let me try something else then. Yeah, you know, not very successful, but that's it. I'm experimenting, you know, and I think that's anyone should do when they're just composing stuff. That's how I came to be as a musician, if I can call myself that, you know. I have no particular training in terms of music, and what I know I picked along the way just by experimenting. And even if you yourself, even if you don't have that knowledge, if you do, more power to you. I think it's really good. It's really important. But if you don't, you know, don't consider that to be a wall. You know, you can build amazing things even by just experimenting and by trial and error. Will it take you longer? Maybe, yeah. But it doesn't matter if you like what you do. You know what I'm saying? Just have fun. Add something more to this as well. If you made a mistake, you can just delete what you've done on the sequencer, you know? That's how easy it is, you know? Maybe you want to do something else. And here on the mixer page, you know, besides changing the volume, there's other things that you can do. Like, for example, I can click here or tap here, and this will enable me to change the panning of the sounds. And panning is actually very important because it situates the songs and the sounds that you have in the stereo field. So either left or right. Like, for example, listen to this. You see the hats going to the right? Yeah, just a tiny little bit. And maybe I want to have the chord to the left. Yeah, it's right on that corner, you know? Oh yeah. Another thing that you can do on the mixer is deactivate certain parts. Like for example, if I want to create a little breakdown section, what can we do here? Nice. Okay, I think I'll be done, or else I'll be here forever. But this is just to give you a sort of introduction to how to build an electronic song, you know, electronic music. And like I've said in the beginning, you don't really need, you know, to complicate this. You can do music in a million ways. But if you want something just really nice, really quick, fun to use, my choice is always the Circuit Tracks. It's just so easy, so immediate, even for someone that is a beginner and never played any type of instrument or anything. You can start building songs right away, and most important of all, in a fun way, intuitive, fun. You're having fun while you're doing it. And you can really, you know, spend hours and hours that feel like seconds just by jamming, you know, just by jamming. So for now, I think I'll just stay here and jam away, but you guys have fun. All right, you guys keep jamming and express yourselves, you know, express yourselves. See you guys.